30 and we'll get out of here. We ready to go?
Yep.
All right. Reading cues gives clues, like Blue's Clues. Key to staying ahead of the game is to read your cues. Recognizing possibilities before they occur, right? Recognizing possibilities before they occur. So some examples. Position of the fielder's feet are going to tell you about where he's going to throw the ball, right? If you got a you look at a fielder and he can throw in two different places, we understand that guys don't throw like this, right? There's an old, they turn their body, right? They turn their shoulders. If they're doing things right, they're turning their shoulders to throw toward the ball, right? The position of their feet and their toes, by the way, don't point where they're going to throw either. Their ankles point where they're going to throw. Their toes are perpendicular to the line of throw typically, right? The toes are at a right angle to the line of throw. Flight of the throw, right? I could have something, if I look, and we're going to talk about this, Sam, at first base, and I think, oh man, that's going to be, the ball's going to get there before the runner does. Oh man, he could be out. And then all of a sudden I look and the ball's way up in the air, and the guy's going to have to jump off the base. I might want to change what I'm looking at now, because now I don't care whether he gets to the base first. Now I might go from that to, now he's got to touch him. So now that changes because the nature of the play changed. So that means I got to look for that clue. The path of the right-hand hitter on his way to first base. Is the right-hand hitter, when he's running to first base, is he running way out near the mound in the middle of the grass, or is he running up the first baseline? Because now we don't know about this rule yet, because we're not even going to get into runners lane. You don't even know what a force out is. Well, the force play, let us alone get into runner's lane violation, right? Okay, we won't get in. We'll get into runner's lane violation. How hard is the ball hit? Right? That could tell me where the fielder's going to go. How hard is it hit? Quality of the throw. Is the throw a good throw? Right? Read your partner. If I'm working, and we're going to talk about this, if I'm working the plate and I look and there's Aaron, I see Aaron's backside, Aaron's not coming into second base, I better come into second base. So he went and chased the ball, whatever it is. There's lots of different cues on the field that we can get clues about where we want to go, because we want to, what do we want to do? Anticipate, right? Anticipate so that we can hustle, right? And we hustle by getting what?
Into the proper position.
Proper position, and the proper position is a function of angle and distance. Which one comes first? Angle and then distance, right? If I say it enough times, you'll remember it.
Kind of like the house that Jack built, just keeps building.
Yeah, it is like the house that Jack built. It takes repeated iterations to force alien concepts upon unwilling minds, right? Okay. Or reticent minds.
Another word.
Every play has three possible positions. Every play has three possible positions. I'm trying to stay, to a large degree, out of frame. Yeah, I'm trying to. Because I want the focus just to hear me, and I want the focus to be on this and not on me. Three possible positions. A starting position, a play position, and an adjusted position, or an adjust position. Every play has three possible positions. Where we start, where we believe the play is going to be, and adjust. Because what do we say? If we're standing still and the ball is moving and the runners are moving, what's happening?
Angle.
We're positioned, we may not be in the best position, so we have to adjust. Okay? Starting position. Starting position is where we are at the time of pitch. Where are we supposed to be when the pitch is thrown? We'll talk about what time of pitch means later, because that is actually a technical term that's important for awards. So we have to know what time of pitch means, because awards matter. Remember we talked a little bit about where a guy should go if a ball goes dead and all that kind of stuff, right? So we have to know that. Starting position is what we do in a starting position, and we'll learn there's in two-man mechanics, there's three basic starting positions. And we call them A, B, and C, largely because we're unimaginative. Okay? A, and remember, our positions are largely a function of what? Our trade-offs, which are a function of our...
Split the difference?
Split the difference. They're a function of our priorities, right? Our starting positions based on priorities, and our priorities are
Ball strike.
ball strike, fair foul, catch no catch, out safe, obstruction interference,
All the rest.
all the other junk, right? See, you're learning. So if we have nobody, if we have one of our starting positions, we'll call it A, is if we have nobody on base and no, the only runner I have to worry about is the batter runner, that means my priorities tell me ball strike comes first, so I'm always gonna, since ball strike comes first, I'm always gonna put the plate umpire behind the plate. That's why it's called the plate umpire. So since that comes first, I would like to have a guy that can see that. The next priority is fair foul. So if I could put a first base umpire in a place where he could see fair foul, that might be real helpful. Likely my first place for if I'm an umpire at first base with no runners on, my first play is going to be the batter runner showing up at first. So I should kind of be in a position to see that play. So then we have our starting position. The other two starting positions are called B and C, and basically they're in the middle of the infield, either toward first base or toward third base. And we'll talk exactly about where those are later. So those are our three starting positions. Okay? And they happen before the pitch. Right? And again, what's it based on? Compromise between all the possible plays we could have. Those starting positions provide the best possible place we could be based on different things that we could happen. Okay? And remember, always remember the far as the play allows concept. I always get that at a camp or a clinic. How close should I get to that play? Only as far as the play allows. We're going to add something a little bit different because we just said only as far as the play allows means what? I should be hustling, and then I should be
Right position.
right position, and I should be stopped. Why do I have to be stopped? So my camera's not moving, so I can see, right? I want my eyes stopped. So I should be stopped. So if I'm stopped, what if I have a play at second base, but then I could have a play at third base right after the play at second base? Would that change how close I get to second base?
Yep.
So I would say only as far as the play allows, two things are going on here. As close as I can get so that my camera's stopped, but not so far away from the next thing I got to do that I can't get there. So there's two things that have to do with only as far as the play allows. So when I hear this all the time, how close should I get to that play? Do you have any other responsibilities? Yes. Okay, only so far as you can go to your next one. Do you have any other responsibilities? No. As close as you think you can, 10 feet for a tag play, 20 feet for a force play. Are there going to be times when you're more than 10 feet from a tag play? Yes, lots of times. Are there going to be times when you're more than 20 feet from a force play? Yes, lots of times. Why? Because you have subsequent responsibilities and you don't want to take yourself out of position for those. Okay? Play position. That's after the ball's put in play, right? Play, to have a play, we have to have what? Ball and runner, right? We have to have a ball and runner. That's what play is. What we're going to do is move toward the optimal angle and distance for the impending play. If all goes well, we're in the best possible position, right? Because we read the play, we did what? Pause.
Pause, read, and react.
Read and react. Why do we pause? So we can
No, read.
read.
The play.
What are we reading? Cues, because cues give us
Clues.
clues. And what do we want clues for?
To react.
To anticipate. And what are we trying to anticipate? Where
The best position.
the play will occur. And once we can anticipate where the play will occur, then we can hustle into position. And the position is where we believe the best place is to see that play right now. House that Jack built, right? We build this. So think about it. If you don't have the bottom, it's going to be really hard when we're way up here doing stuff. If you don't have a good base. So we have to have this good base, which is why repeat these things a million times. And this is one of the things that I've learned from a long, long time of doing umpire clinics and talking to umpires and stuff is how few of them actually have concrete in their basement. There's a lot of guys that umpire on foundations of sand. And the first time it starts raining, they get in trouble. Right? First time it starts low, forget if the tide comes in. Because if the tide comes in, their whole thing's washed away. And trust me, I've been on fields when the tide comes in. That's ugly. Right? That's really ugly really fast. So that's why, it's kind of corny, but these are things that have to be in your mind all the time, okay? If something changes,
You have to
then
adjust.
you got to change, right? Then you got to change. So the adjusted position. It's the new position after some element changes to make your position more desirable. Because now something happened, I went, oh man, this is not the best place to be. Because remember, we're going to learn about this. Your nose is a wedge, and there's a little hole that we want to stick it in so we can see. Because our eyes usually follow our nose, right? And our nose and our heads usually follow our feet. And that's why all this footwork is important, because proper footwork will allow us to
Get in position.
right? To hustle better, to actually get angle and distance at the same time. When elements of a potential play change, angle and distance are no longer where you want, you got to change them. You got to change them. So what do you think is going to help us do that?
Feet.
Cues,
Cues. Yeah.
because they're going to give us
Clues.
clues about where things might go bad, right? So then we have to adjust, right? Too many umpires don't adjust. So notice, if we're going to learn to adjust, what do we have to learn? We have to first learn our
Angle.
starting position, right? Then we have to learn to pause, read, and react. Pause so we can read the cues, so we can anticipate, which means we can react, which means hustle, which means move into the proper position. And once we're in the proper position, now we have to read again, right? Once we're in the proper position, the whole read process starts again. Now I got to look and say, all right, has anything changed from when I hustled over there? No, everything's going exactly the way it was. Okay, cool, then I'm in the right place. Uh-oh, that guy, the ball doesn't look like it's moving in the direction I thought, or the runner, he's doing something different than I thought he was going to do or anticipated he was going to do. I'm going to have to adjust. So then we have to adjust. If you don't hustle, you can't adjust. If you don't hustle, you can't adjust. Does hustle mean running fast?
Not necessarily.
Hustle means
Getting
getting to the proper position. With all due alacrity.
Alacrity.
Alacrity. Come on. Right? Read cues. Somebody didn't proofread that really well. No, I got that. Read cues as anticipated play develops. Look at the throw. Is it a good throw or bad throw? Right? Does it look like the guy who's trying to catch it is now changing his feet to go get the ball? That could change what I do. Is he standing still? Is the throw chest high? Is it way up in the air? One of the hardest things there is to do in all of umpiring is read a throw that's not coming to you. We do it without thinking when we play, right? The guy makes a bad throw, your arm just goes like this. I mean, think about it. It's sometimes amazing to me that catchers can catch things that pitchers throw. They just have this, uncanny ability to anticipate. Well, if you can't anticipate where, it's hard enough when it's thrown at us, but now try to anticipate when you're looking at from over here and the ball's going here. So we have to learn ways to read cues about whether or not that's a good throw or bad throw. What do I see the fielder doing? If I see him just going right out like this and his hand stays here, okay. If I see him start to hunker down like he's going to have to, or if I see him change the position of his body like he's going to have to field it off the ground, that can help to tell me those things. Okay? All right. Rule, what law is this? This is about 6. This is law 6. Okay. Call is mental, signal is physical. Alright, quick timing is an umpire's worst enemy. Let's talk about what timing is. We're going to come back to that. That may mean something to you, that may not. I don't like the word timing. And I'm going to tell you why as we go through this. I don't think, yeah, he doesn't define timing in here. So let's talk about what we mean by that. Timing. Okay? Timing has nothing to do with time. Okay? Basically, think about what I told you before. When we umpire, we have the beauty, the luxury of letting everything happen before we have to do anything. Because what we're trying to do is announce to the world what just happened on the play. Because we don't call guys out, we don't call guys safe. They're either out or safe, we adjudge that, and then we announce that to the world. We announce that to the world. Now, one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to call a guy who's out safe, and you don't want to call a guy who's safe out. Pretty simple, right? Pretty basic. In umpire words, we don't want to kick calls, right? We don't want to kick calls, okay? So, one of the things that can help us not call outs safes and safes outs are what happens after things happen. So let's suppose that you've properly determined that the guy is out or safe. Let's make it out to make it easy. So you've properly determined that either the base or the runner was touched before the runner acquired the base. That's pretty much what is required to have an out, depending on the situation, right? Sometimes you can touch the base before the runner gets there. Sometimes you have to touch the runner before he gets there. But let's suppose one or the other of those has happened under the right circumstance, okay? So you've decided that the ball beat the runner. Okay? You've decided that the ball beat the runner. In honor of my friend Bob Gustin, normally most of the time, if the ball beats the runner is likely to be out. And we don't know what out means yet, but we will learn that in the next few weeks. So we don't know what out means yet. So now, for the guy to be out, we're going to see that one of the things that we have to have, remember catch, no catch? We talked about firm and secure possession and voluntary release. If we're going to have a guy be out, we have to have the same thing. Okay? Because remember, a catch meant firmly and securely holding a thrown, pitched, or batted ball in his hand and then demonstrating voluntary release, right? That was part of the catch. So to put a runner out, at some point, the fielder has to have the ball firmly, securely in his hand. And remember, the other part of that was to demonstrate that he had it firmly and securely in his hand was that he demonstrated that he had voluntary release. So guess what you have to have a guy be out if the ball beats the runner?
Firm and a voluntary release.
You have to have firm and secure possession and voluntary release. So one of the phrases you'll hear, and we won't talk about this technique right now, but we'll talk about it, is you have to be able to see the ball confirm firm and secure possession and voluntary release. If you cannot confirm firm and secure possession and voluntary release, then the guy's not out, even if the ball beat him there. So guess what you're going to have to do that? You're going to have to look at the ball. So at some point, after you see what happens, the ball beats the runner and either he's touched or his base is touched, depending on which kind of play it is. What should happen next, do you think?
You should see the ball.
You should see the ball. You should take your eyes from the play to the ball and see the ball get voluntarily released. If he's not voluntary released, then what do you have? Safe. So notice, it looks like that takes time, doesn't it? But it's not about time, because counting to 3, or counting to 8, or pinching yourself, or poking yourself in the eye, or reciting the Hail Mary, or holding onto your pants, or chewing gum 3 times, or waiting for the runner to run by. You think I'm kidding? I've heard of all of these as methods for timing. Are any of those going to help you determine whether the ball was firmly and securely held and released voluntarily? No. There's only one way to do that, and what would that be?
See it.
To move your head from what you were looking at to the ball, see the ball come out, and then call it. That's what timing is. It's using your eyes properly. The same thing is going to be true on a pitch, right? On a pitch, you're going to hear this phrase we call tracking. If you haven't been in a plate yet, or a cage yet, which will get you there, we're going to talk about tracking. What tracking means is moving your eyes. Right? Moving your eyes. That is moving your eyes all the way to what? The ball goes in the catcher's mitt, and then you determine then, oh boy, that was a good pitch. And it looks like it takes time, doesn't it? It doesn't take time. If you move your eyes and you look, think about, remember you ever play one of those games at the arcade when you got to touch the button when the light goes off? There's a reaction time, right? So if you wait for the button to go off and you touch it, there's a time delay between you when you see the button and you react to it. Well, the same thing's true here. If I wait and see the pitch go boom into my glove, and then I go, oh man, that's a good pitch, into the glove, there's a time delay, isn't there? It looks like I counted to 3, or, recited the Hail Mary, or jumped up and down, or chewed on my gum twice, or poked myself in the eye, or something like that, and then said it, but I didn't. What I need to do is see the ball all the way in the glove, because what's at our job? We talked about ball strike last time. Our job is to see the ball go through the strike zone. Anybody remember what the strike zone was? Okay, we would like to envision it as an octagon, but what's the strike zone? Hollow of the knee. That's the bottom, or the knee in high school, to the midpoint between the top of the uniform pants and the top of the shoulders when he's in his stance, or the batter is prepared to hit the ball. Remember, they all used, all 3 rule books use different words. The only one that really mattered was, what's the difference between hollow of the knee and knee, right? And we said, it's all the same. Right? It's all the same. And then we cheated by giving them the black, right? Letting the ball be a little bit in or out. But the rule book says over the plate, the area over the plate, the upper limit of which is the midpoint between the top of the uniform pants and the top of the shoulders. The bottom of which is at the hollow of the bottom of the knee when the batter is in his stance or prepared to hit, or there were 3 different ways, but it all meant the same thing. Okay? It's our job to see the ball go through that hole, to go through that space. If you quit watching it before it gets to that space, can you see it go through there? That's why we want to use our eyes properly. So timing is a proper use of eyes. If you use your eyes right, you can't have bad timing. It's physiologically impossible to have bad timing if you do your eyes right. And we're going to learn how to do that. That's going to be a physical part of what we're going to do. And we're going to spend a lot of time on that. The other thing that you should always know is you should always know the status of the ball. And that's a phrase you're going to hear from me a lot when we start to learn stuff, is know the status of the ball. Where's the ball? Is the ball over here? Is it over there? Is it a lot? Because can anything happen without the ball on a baseball field? No. We could say no, right? We go like this, no. Because we could have obstruction interference happen without the ball. But for the most part, nothing can happen without the ball. So what do you think your focus should be on? The ball. How many of you that have umpired spend your time watching runners run around bases? Come on, admit it. You all do it. You watch runners. Why? The runners are going to do what they're going to do, aren't they? Think about it. There's only 4 places on the field the runners could be. Over here, over here, over here, or over here. Runners are big. Right? They're big. And they can only be 4 places. Ball is small, And it could be in anywhere in that 3 to 5 acre place. Now, if you had to find one or the other in a hurry, which one would you rather look for?
The runner.
Runners. And you know the other really cool thing about runners is the ball will take you to
The runner.
the runners. Because what do the defensive players have to do to get runners out?
Throw in.
Throw the ball near the runner, because you have to have a play, and a play is what?
Ball.
Ball and runner, right? So know the status of the ball.
I'm rolling, man.
Know the status of the ball. We learning anything? Even for you old timers?
For the old guys.
Even for the old guys? All right, call is mental, signal is physical. There's a two-part process to making calls. The call and the signal. Okay, the call and the signal. The call is the decision-making process. Okay, that means we have to know some rules, right? What rules do we have to know for calls? We have to know ball strike, fair foul, catch no catch, out safe, obstruction interference, all the other crap, right? If we don't know those things, it's going to be hard for us to make a decision. But let's assume now that we know all those things, okay? Observe the play. Observe the play. Receive the information. Okay, I see what's going on. Interpret the information. What did I just see happen? Make your choice. Imagine that. I wrote down ball strike, fair foul, safe foul, right? Make your decision, right? I didn't throw in catch, no catch there. I better fix that because you guys are going to come over the top rope and hit me because I left out catch, no catch. How many of you noticed right away I missed catch, no catch? Good. You're learning something because I did out of the corner of my eye. I was like, I don't have catch, no catch. I hope they don't notice. Got to be set. We're going to change that word to stopped, right? Got to be stopped. Got to be stopped. And stopped, what has to be stopped in particular? Your eyeballs, your head, right? Your head has to be stopped. Decide what has happened. Reach a verdict. Or in fancy words, we say, adjudge the play. Right? Adjudge the play. Now that that process is complete, so now you've reached your verdict. We've done that all standing still, looking, stopped, see all the things, whichever one of those things there are, then what do?
Signal.
Now we make the signal. So is there going to be a time lapse between us judging all that, and then the signal?
A little bit.
A little bit, right? So it looks like what we call timing. But what happened was if you took in all the information, you used your eyes properly, you adjudged it all, then made a decision, and then make your signal, guess what? You'll have fantastic timing. If you do any one of those other pieces wrong, you're likely to have bad timing, and you'll hear me say, you're not tracking pitches. You say, yes, I am. I'll say, no, you can't see my eyes. Yes, I can, because I don't need to. Because I understand the way the human body works, and I understand that if I hear strike, you didn't see the ball all the way in the glove. You made a decision when the ball was over by Jess somewhere. Because the ball travels like that. And if you can say snap strike, that meant the last place you saw the ball was over there somewhere. There's no other physiological way for that to happen. That meant you anticipated the... Nope, because what do we want to do? We want to anticipate
The call.
the play, but we don't want to anticipate the call or the outcome. So is it okay to anticipate?
Yes.
Yes.
So what can we anticipate?
Play.
Play. What can't we anticipate?
The outcome.
The outcome. So this is where timing comes from, right? Is now once you're there, you've anticipated the play, you're there, now no more anticipation. Now it's see everything, react, bring your verdict, make your judgment. Once you do that, the signal is a physical response to the mental process. All it is we're confirming what's happened on the field. Yep, that guy was out. Okay, no, that guy was safe. Yep, that was a strike. Yes, that was a catch. Right. No, that wasn't a catch. Right. All of those things, that's what we're doing. Okay. Others are going to be anticipating. Okay. I just read a really good, I told you about that last week, the dude in Referee. There's a really little good article in Referee magazine about a coach that said he knew 10 years prior that he'd been screwed by the officials bad. And he knew there was a block charge that didn't get called, and the guy came in and went over the top of his player, and that he didn't want to watch the game anymore because he was mad because he played a team twice, they blew him out twice, and then in the regionals, semifinals, something, that they had the team right down to the wire until that last shot on the timeout. The team went in, the guy ran over his guy, got a rebound, and it was because the other player pushed his guy. Didn't he see the push? It was clear. Never watched the tape. 10 years later, he went back and watched the tape, and he said, there wasn't a doggone thing about what I remembered that happened in that play. There was no pushing. I did notice my guys didn't box out. I did notice my guys weren't in a position to box out. I did notice there was no contact anywhere on the play, but I was pretty sure in my mind all of that stuff happened. And he said, why? Because officials don't anticipate that stuff. They see with their eyes, not with their heart. They see with their eyes, not with their heart. And that's really hard for us to do, right? That's really hard for us to do. Okay? Proper use of eyes is going to prevent the physical process from coming before the mental process is done. You don't want the physical happening before the mental is done. Okay? See the ball into the mid on pitches, confirm firm and secure possession on all outs, and force tags. In fact, what you're doing right now is the two or three things that we're going to push in the next year overall in training are pause, read, react, confirm, firm, and secure possession. Right? Those are going to be the things we talk about over and over again, even association-wide, because we don't do a good job of it as an association. In fact, most umpires don't do a good job of it. Most umpires don't do a good job of it. The number of guys that I see don't confirm firm and secure possession makes me crazy. The signal has two pieces, a physical and a vocal. Right? It has a physical and a vocal. So if I think a guy's out, the physical is I do something like this, right? And we'll talk about how to do that. And the vocal is he's out, right? So physical and a vocal, he's out. And if you make a physical signal, you should probably make a vocal, and then you can change your vocal from really quiet to really loud depending on the excitingness of the play. And at some point we'll talk about the ice concept for selling calls. Okay? Varies with the intensity of the game or play. Proper use of eyes is going to prevent crying wolf. Any of you ever do this, that umpire go safe as the ball went round the way? You didn't use your eyes properly, did you? And you anticipated the call, didn't you? Okay. Ice. I told you we would talk about ice. So what you want to do is your voice should be, anytime you have something that's intense, close, or exciting, you probably want your voice to be raised. You don't want to yell, you don't want to scream out like it's the most important play in the world every time a guy's out. If a guy's out by 15 steps at first base, you could go, he's out. Right? If he's out by a step, he's out. So everybody can hear you. If it's like one noise and you're going to whack him, then you got to let it go, right? You know, a big old boom and he's out. Right? Let it fly. Okay, so we're going to, anytime you make a signal, you should probably have a voice. We'll talk more about that as well. Okay? It's not routine until it's over. It's not routine until it's over. Why do we hustle? It allows us to adjust, right? When do we hustle? When do we hustle? I've changed the question on you. See, you guys thought you had it all down. I changed the question on you, didn't I?
After you anticipate.
After I anticipate. Very good. After I anticipate, right? What am I anticipating?
Play.
Possible plays, right? And then what do I do after I anticipate the possible play?
React.
Always read and react.
Pause helps me anticipate. Pause allows me to go, okay. Read is anticipating the play, and then reacting is hustling, right? What is hustling?
Getting to the proper position.
Getting to the proper position, right? Getting to the proper position. Why do I hustle? Because if I hustle into the play position, what's that allow? More time to do what? There were 3 positions on every play.
To adjust.
More time to
More
adjust.
time to adjust, right? If I don't hustle to my play, will I be able to adjust? Never prejudge the outcome of a play. Another way of saying don't anticipate. Don't decide until all the elements of the play have finished. Did the ball beat the runner? Did the runner get tagged? Did the base get touched? Does he have firm and secure possession of the ball? Right? Was the ball in flight? Was the ball caught in flight, meaning held firmly and securely long enough to demonstrate possession, and did he voluntarily release? Right? Nothing is routine while it's happening. Nothing is routine while it's happening. If you can umpire every play like it's the 1 and not the 99, you're going to be a lot better off. Proper use of eyes is very important on all of this. That's going to help you do all this. There's only one play, there should only be one call. There's nothing more embarrassing than calling somebody out and then calling them safe because the ball rolled away. How many of you have done that? Anybody? Why? Because we didn't use proper use of eyes, right? Let the play finish. And now there's other things too that happen. As you start to do games that are played on things like AstroTurf, which will be more and more, that field turf will come more and more even to amateur games, guys slide into second base and they're safe. If they keep on going by the base and the guy touches them, dude's out, right? So there's no sense in going safe, out, you look silly. Which was he? You know, if you look and the guy's going too fast, he's coming in hot, and he's going to keep on going, you might as well wait. Yep, he was safe. Oh, there he goes. Oh, he's got the ball. Let me go touch him. There's a great story Greg Walls could tell you about the first time he saw that up at Navy. The kid was going to steal. The Navy catcher said to Greg, he said, watch, this guy's going to steal. He said, well, watch, he's going to steal. I'm not even going to worry about it. He's never played on turf before, and it's rained last night. He said, well, watch, he's going to slide into left field. I'm just going to lollipop the ball at second baseman. He's going to go tag him in left field. He goes, no, he goes, watch. Guy took off, they let him run. He kept going. Catcher lollipop the ball to second base. Second baseman caught it, walked over, touched the dude in left field.
I was against Lafayette, I was at second.
Were you at second? True story, right? We've seen it happen at James Madison. You've seen it happen a lot of different places, right? It doesn't happen as much anymore because guys know how to slide. They've learned how to slide on that stuff.
Yeah, the Navy's was so worn, there was no stopping. JMU's at least a little bit newer. You have a same thing at Tech. You don't tend to go as far, but
You got these, I know at USSSA and those, they got a lot of these breakaway bags.
If the bag breaks away, the bag is where it was. If the bag gets dislodged, wherever it was is where the base is.
Well, I mean, I got that, but I'm saying, I mean, how do you?
If he goes through the base and he keeps going and he's not where the base was, oh well, tough.
give them a little leeway, but not much.
Yeah.
Because you hit the base, you're waiting for the steal to pop up, and if the thing doesn't leave, he probably wouldn't have gone any further. But there's a reason why it broke away.
Yeah, they usually break away because they hit them hot, right? All right, remember, umpire according to priorities. Prioritize responsibilities. Again, go back and we'll think about crucial in 2-umpire system. All plays are important, but it's impossible to see everything with only 2 umpires, right? Okay. Likely an umpire will have multiple responsibilities. Now I'll just say, this is something you guys don't know yet, but consider this. Suppose we got a runner on second and a runner on third and nobody out, and there's a fly ball down the right field line. Holy moly, there's a whole lot going on right there, isn't there? There's a runner on second, runner on third, fly ball down the right field line. So let's just say right now that I know that I'm going to have a runner at second base. My umpire's going to be in the middle. And now there's a catch. Somebody's got to be responsible for the fair foul. Somebody's got to be responsible for the catch, no catch, right? Somebody's got to watch the dude touch third base. And somebody has to watch any potential plays that happen on the bases. Holy moly, Batman. Okay, so what do? Well, that's what mechanics are for, and that's where the next process we're going to do. If we understand these basics and can get these basics down, Now we can start to understand who's responsible for what under what circumstances. Okay, and I'll tell you in case you want to know, the plate guy is in a lot of trouble on this play, okay? Because the plate guy
Fair foul.
has
Okay.
this one, and that one, right? The plate guy has the first three of those things. So that means he's looking at one responsibility, and he has to be looking at the other and be prepared for the third. So this is one of those, how far should the guy go? Only so far as he can get back to his next one. So if all I have is fair foul and catch, no catch, guess what? Those two things happen really close together, so I could probably get really a lot closer to that. But if I have fair foul, catch, no catch, and I have to make sure a runner retouch third base, I probably can't run as far, because if he retouches third base and runs home, who's responsible for him at home? The plate guy is probably. So guess what? I can't go running way up the line to see that, can I? So these are all things that we have to anticipate. Those are all things that we have to anticipate.
Because the guy, plate umpire's got the tag up at third as well.
Yeah. He's got four
He'll
different
probably
things.
tag in third and go as opposed to go halfway. The guy at second is the one who's gonna go halfway and come back.
So you got your field guy, all he has is your tag at second?
That's it.
Is that what you're saying here?
Yep.
Pretty much, but he's probably not gonna tag at second. He's
Right.
probably gonna go halfway. So maybe the guy at third can give him a little eyeball at
That's what I was
third.
thinking.
But here's the other thing too, is again, you can't, it depends on, you have to anticipate the cues. If the guy goes halfway, he's not retouching. If he goes back and touch, you gotta
Right.
watch. And the other thing you could have potentially too is there's a fifth thing that could potentially happen on that. If the guy at second tags and runs to third, and they make the guy out at third before the runner from third scores, and there's
2 outs.
one out. There's one out on the play.
Okay.
Now the ball gets caught, there's 2 outs.
All right.
And now they throw the dude out at third base before the runner scores.
No run.
Who's responsible for watching that?
Oh,
The plate umpire. So if all things go right, that dude could have 5 different things to do on that play. And that's just the plate guy, and he didn't move very much. That's a lot of stuff going on. But we have to umpire in the order, and we work down the list. So what's more important, fair foul or the guy touching third base?
fair foul.
What's more important, the catch, no catch, or the guy touching third base?
No catch.
Catch, no catch, right? Those things come way before that guy. I'm not going to worry about that guy. So that means here's what's going to be really weird, and we have to understand responsibilities. Suppose the guy catches the ball near the line, you call it fair, he catches it, it's falling, rolls over, comes up with the ball. When can you look at the runner at third base?
Not until
As
he.
touches
Till
the
you.
ball.
No.
You
till
can't look, that's when he can run, but when can you look at the runner at third base?
When he shows,
Probably has a
yeah,
catch.
that he has a catch.
Firm and secure possession and voluntary release. So when he pulls the ball out of the glove, then you can look at the dude at third base.
But he could have ran.
He could have ran as
untouched.
soon as the guy touched it.
Right.
Oh boy. But what's more important right there? The catch, no catch, or the...
Catch, no catch.
Catch, no catch.
That's a lot more important than that guy touching third. Have you ever done that, where you've looked at a runner when the ball went in the glove, and then you look back and the ball's on the ground, and you go... Remember the play we
Whoops.
saw last week? Remember the play we saw 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
You better know the status of the ball, right? So it all goes back to that. It all goes back to that. Okay? Knowledge of your responsibilities applies to quality of the umpire. The more you know about your responsibilities. In fact, in this manual, Evans will say the biggest difference between a professional umpire and an amateur umpire is who knows their responsibilities. Right? Who knows their responsibilities. Basic priorities in order, right? Ball strike, fair foul, catch, no catch, safe out, obstruction, interference, everything else. Touches, retouches, everything else, right? How important do you think I think this is?
Very.
Pretty important. How many times have we said it tonight?
A
A lot. Why? Because it's really, 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 really important. If you umpire in order of your priorities, you're not going to get in trouble. Umpires get in trouble when they start to move things around in the list. Or they start to think, well, what if I got to get over here and I got to... No, you're moving things around the list. We'll have stories all the time. What if the ball does this and then... But what if I got... It doesn't matter what if. Get them in order. Do them in order. That's what matters. Guess what? Sometimes you're going to look over at the guy touch third base on a catch, no catch, and you're at the plate, and it's your responsibility, and that guy's gonna be 20 feet from third base.
Oh, well.
Not much I can do about that, is there? I'm watching catch, no catch.
Yep.
Now, when we can talk about this later, but when coaches come out, you're not gonna tell them, I can't see that because I'm doing this. You say, look, there's only 2 of us out here, I'm working as hard as I can. Right? In my judgment, he retouched or he tagged up. Right? In my judgment, he tagged up. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I understand, but in my judgment, he tagged up. And it stinks sometimes. Now, if you look up and by the time the guy's done rolling around, the runner's running in front of you, guess what? He probably didn't retouch, right? So you can use your, even if you didn't see him, if the guy's 50 feet away from the base after you look and it's only taken a half a second for him to come out with the ball, how far can a runner move in a half a second? How far can a runner move in a second? Put all that stuff in your brain. Cues, right? Give us clues. Put all that stuff in our brain, okay? Umpire in order. Umpire in order. Again, remember, pause, read, react. Go back over them real quick. Assess the potential situation. Assess the most likely play situation. Establish the position. The other thing we're going to talk a little bit about later is these ideas of balance the field. We want to make sure we're splitting differences. Here's another one I say a lot. You'll hear me say a lot. Watch the ball and glance at runners. If you don't know where the ball is, right? Watch the ball, glance at runners. Another concept we're going to talk about, one way to assure that you watch the ball is to take your belt buckle or your belly button and point it at the ball. If you point your belly button at the ball, guess what? Your eyeballs generally follow your belly button and your belt buckle. Right? Generally, usually, normally, most of the time, wherever your belly button's pointed is where your eyes are going to be pointed. So point your belly button at the baseball. We're going to talk about that concept is important. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about this stuff. This is a little bit more physical. And that's it. Anybody got any questions? That's a good couple hours for
Good
a night,
stuff,
isn't
man.
it?
Good stuff.
That's a good couple hours. If you can get those 7 things down and you understand them, and right, we go back to order of priorities. We all know those, right? We know what pause, read, react means. We know what hustle means. We know that angle comes before distance, right? Angle comes before distance. And on every play, there's 3 places: where we start, where we think the play is going to be, and then where we adjust. And what do we do before we move from where we start? We pause, read, react. We pause because it's a lot easier to read when you're standing still. Right? Think about it. You ever read while you're walking? You ever try to do that? Walk through the airport and read the magazine? You have no chance. Okay? Chewing gum and walking at the same time is rough for you, but imagine reading, right? It's really hard to read when you're moving, isn't it? That works the same thing on a baseball field. The faster you go, the harder it is to read. So the reason we pause is so we can read. What are we doing? We're reading cues. We're anticipating plays, right? That's what we're reading. Once we anticipate the play and read the cues, then we want to hustle. Hustle means to go to the proper position to accept our responsibility. Once we're in that proper position, then the next thing we do is read more cues and we adjust. And then once we see, then we make a signal, right? We judge what happened, then we signal what happened. And now the next bit of what we have to do is we still got to keep learning rules. Okay, we still got to keep learning rules. And to a large degree, that's got to be you reading the rule book. Okay, I'll see what I can do about, because some of you can get on Arbiter for the Federation. Some of you can't because you're not members of the Federation yet, which means you can't look at the Federation page until you become members. I'll see what I can do about digging up a rule book or something so you can look at it. If you have a Federation rule book, you should be reading it. We'll talk a little bit about that. And now we're at the point now we can start talking about responsibilities. Okay, we can talk about the basic positions, the basic responsibilities, and the basics of two-man mechanics. We're going to learn all of the responsibilities. Once we learn all the responsibilities, then we got to go and put it into practice. Right? So we got to learn them, and then we'll put them into practice, and we're going to work. So we're going to start working in that direction. Okay? Good. Next Tuesday work still? And I'll put out another email, and we'll harass the guys that aren't coming and see if they'll start showing up. But anyway, thanks.
Good class, man.
Thanks, glad you came, I hope you're learning something, we'll have fun, I enjoy the heck out of this stuff, so.
No,
Good.
I guess you haven't put the stuff in for.
No, I was gone all week, I was at a conference last week, so. I'm hoping this week, and the very worst, it'll happen really soon, because like I said, my semester's about wound